They will collect your money and steal your destiny with it. Be careful who you help.
Sister, please don't give that mad woman your money. She will steal your destiny. If God allows her to steal my destiny for helping her, so be it.
Some years ago, in a peaceful town surrounded by green hills and red earth roads, there stood a large church in the center of the community. Every Sunday, the church overflowed with worshippers. Old men sit in the front row. Women dressed in colorful wrappers filled the middle benches. Children crowded the back. The church choir sang beautifully, and the sound echoed throughout the town. One particular Sunday, the church was packed. The preacher stood behind the pulpit, sweating as he delivered a powerful sermon. The congregation listened attentively. Then the preacher said something that changed the entire town. My brethren, Amen, the congregation shouted. Be careful who you help. Many poor people are not what they seemed. Some of them are witches and wizards. Some collect gifts and money and use them to steal destinies through dark powers. There are people among us who are poor, not because they lack food, but because they are looking for those they will steal their destiny. The church became quiet. The preacher continued. Some people will ask you for money. The congregation nodded. Some will ask you for clothes. The people listened carefully. Some will ask you for food. A woman whispered, That is true. The preacher pointed dramatically. When you give them something, they can use it for juju and exchange your blessings for their suffering. The church erupted. God forbid. To fear. Protect us, O Lord, some people shouted. One of the men said to someone sitting beside him, No wonder my business started struggling after I helped Mbonko. Others looked around nervously. When the service ended, nobody talked about the choir, nobody talked about the offering, everybody talked about the preacher's warning. Soon the entire town changed. Whenever a beggar approached someone, they would run away. When widows asked for help, people avoided them. Children who begged for food were chased away. People became suspicious of everyone who looked poor. If I give her money, what if she uses it for juju? If I help him, what if he steals my destiny? Fear slowly replaced compassion. Months passed. The poor became poorer. The hungry became hungrier. Yet nobody wanted to help. The preacher's words echoed in everybody's mind. One day, news spread through the town. An elderly woman, popularly known as Mama Adeze, had passed away. She had been loved by many people. Her funeral attracted visitors from different cities and towns. Among those who came was Adeze. Adeze lived overseas and had become successful. She worked hard and was respected wherever she went. Despite her success, she remained humble and kind hearted. She traveled home with her husband and children to bury her beloved mother. The funeral ground was crowded. Canopies covered the gathering. People ate, sang, and shared memories. Souvenirs were distributed to guests. Among the items being shared were beautiful umbrellas. The weather was extremely hot. The sun blazed fiercely overhead. As Adeze sat quietly beneath a canopy, she noticed a woman standing at a distance. The woman looked exhausted. Her clothes were torn. Her feet were dusty. Her face carried the mark of hardship. Besides her stood three children. The children looked hungry. Their hair was uncombed. Their clothes were faded. The youngest child looked too weak to stand. Adeze's heart immediately softened as she watched the woman slowly approach her. The woman said to her, Please, can I have one of those umbrellas? She said softly. Adeze looked at her kindly. The woman pointed towards her children. The sun is too much. My children are suffering. Adeze immediately reached for an umbrella. At the same time, she opened her purse. She wanted to give the woman some money as well. But before she could do so, her younger sister grabbed her hand. Stop! Her sister whispered urgently. Adeze looked surprised. What is wrong? Her sister looked around nervously. You can't give her money. Why not? You heard what the preacher said. These poor people can use your gift against you. They can perform juju. They can steal your destiny. Several nearby women nodded in agreement. Yes, they do. It's the truth. Don't do it. Protect yourself. Be careful. But Adeze shook her head. Then she smiled. If God allows someone to take away my destiny because I showed kindness, then so be it. The crowd became silent. Adeze continued. I refuse to believe that helping a hungry mother is wrong. Without hesitation, she handed the woman the umbrella. She also placed a lot of money in her hand. The woman stared at her in shock. Tears filled her eyes. For a moment, she could not speak. Then she whispered, May God remember you. Thank you so much for your kindness. After the woman left, Adeze became curious. She turned to an elderly woman sitting nearby. Mother, she asked respectfully, who is that woman that I just gave some money? The woman sighed. Oh, her. Yes, Adeze said. The old woman shook her head. People call that woman mad. She's well known around this town. Mad? Why do they call her mad woman? Yes, they call her mad woman. Oh. She comes from a neighboring town. Nobody knows where she sleeps. She wanders from village to village. Whenever there is a burial, wedding, or gathering, she comes hoping to get food for her children. Adeze looked surprised. What about the children? Are they hers? Does she have a husband? The old woman shook her head. No one knows. The story made Adeze sad. As the funeral continued, she could not stop thinking about the woman and her children. That night, Adeze could not sleep. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw the hungry children. She remembered their faces. She remembered the tired woman. Finally, she prayed, Lord, if there is anything I can do, please show me. She eventually fell asleep. In her dream, she saw an elderly woman dressed in white. The woman smiled at her and said, The blessing you seek is hidden where others see a curse. Adeze woke up immediately. Her heart was racing. Boom, boom, boom. She could not explain the dream, but she knew she needed to find the woman again. The next morning, Adeze began searching. Many people laughed at her. You're wasting your time. That woman is all over the place. She is very crazy. She doesn't stay in one place. Leave her alone. But Adeze continued. After several days, she found the woman resting beneath a tree. The children were sharing a small piece of bread. Adeze sat beside them. The woman looked frightened. You found me, she said to Adeze. Adeze smiled. Yes, I did. Then she began asking her question. Slowly, the woman's story emerged. Years later, she had been happily married. Her husband died suddenly. His relatives seized everything, her house, her farmland, her belongings, everything. She was thrown out with her children, without support. She wandered from place to place trying to survive. People assumed she was mad because she spoke to herself while praying. Others mocked her appearance. Nobody bothered to learn her story. Touched by what she heard, Adeze decided to help. She rented a small apartment for the woman. She enrolled the children in school. She provided food and clothing. The town mocked Adeze. She has been bewitched. That woman has bewitched her. She is wasting her money on a mad woman. She will regret it. But Adeze ignored them. Months passed. Adeze had traveled back to overseas, but she kept sending money for their upkeep. Then one day, something unexpected happened. The woman's eldest son excelled in school. His teachers discovered he was exceptionally gifted. A charity organization heard his story. They offered him a scholarship. Years later, he became a doctor. The second child became an engineer. The youngest became a teacher. The once homeless family transformed completely. After many years, Adeze returned to the town. A large celebration was taking place. People gathered from all around. She was invited as a guest of honor. When she arrived, she was surprised to see the three successful adults standing on the stage. Then she recognized them. They were the children of the woman everybody had called mad. The eldest son stepped forward. He smiled. Then he spoke. Many years ago, when nobody cared about us, one woman showed kindness. The crowd became silent. While others feared us, she helped us. Tears filled Adeze's eyes. The young man continued. Everything we had become today started with an umbrella, an act of kindness. The crowd erupted in applause. Many people lowered their heads in shame. They remembered how they had ignored the family. They remembered how fear had controlled them. An old village elder stood and addressed the crowd. My people, hear me, oh. The crowd listened. The poor are not our enemies. Kindness is not weakness. Compassion is not foolishness. Fear closes doors that love can open. Everybody nodded. The elder continued. Never judge a person by torn clothes. Never assume that poverty means evil. Sometimes the greatest blessings arrives disguised as someone in need. From that day forward, the town changed. People became generous again. Widows were helped. Orphans were cared for. Hungry families received support. And whenever somebody spoke fearfully about helping others, the elders will remind them of the story of the woman everybody called mad, the woman whose children changed the future, and the brave young lady who chose compassion over fear. Because sometimes one act of kindness can change generations. And that, dear listener, is the end of the tale. Moral of the story: never allow fear to destroy your compassion. Do not judge people by their appearance. Every person has a story you may not know. Kindness given to one person can transform generations. True faith is shown through love and compassion. Please give this story a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe.